It's some old bullshit. This is ridiculous. Anyway, the untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing, guys. This is the immediate aftermath of Fabio Wardley versus Joseph Parker. The result of the fight is a 11th round stoppage, a controversial stoppage. Terrible, terrible stoppage. I mean, great fight. But before I get into Howard Foster, because I'm gonna spend a lot of time laying into Howard Foster. Before I get into like what I thought was a terrible stoppage and one of the worst I've ever seen, um, let me just give some credit to Fabio Wardley for showing an immense amount of heart, balls, determination. Even if Fabio didn't win this fight, even if he wouldn't have won this fight, I would have still given him the same amount of respect because he was in this fight the whole way through. He was dangerous. He showed early and often in this fight that he had world class power. And even when it seemed like Joseph Parker was gonna hurt him and get him out of there and really like dominate the fight, I knew Fabio Wardley was still in the fight because he's carrying that kind of power. He's got a lot of speed. He feints very, very well. So even if he would have lost, it was a fight where he performed very, very well. I just think it ended in the worst possible fashion because Howard Foster is it's always Howard Foster. It's always his punk ass in these fights, waving it off. Hold on, guys. I gotta change the title real quickly. Hold on. Howard Stop Foster strikes again. Leave your comments down below. There's 18 of y'all here. Make sure y'all smash that like button. So this video gets out to as many people as possible. Run it all the way up. Do that right now while I'm changing the title. I can't believe this shit. I'm not surprised that Fabio won. I mean, I thought Parker was gonna win, but I knew Fabio wasn't no punk. I knew he was. Even when Parker was winning round after round after round after round, I knew that Parker was gonna. I knew that Wardley was still gonna be in the fight, and it had to be an honest victory for Parker. But it's just like I hate to see shit like that. I hate to see referees like Howard. And I told my dad. My dad's Pops is gonna join the live later on, but I told Pops that as soon as I saw Howard Foster, I'm like, yup, this is about to be some bullshit. Because every time he's involved in a fight, there's always some bullshit, and it's like I don't even want to be sitting here talking about this because I don't even want to see here talk about this because really it was a great fight and Fabio Wardley deserves so much credit. Like, the guy literally came from white-collar boxing. He had a regular job as a recruiter helping people get, like, social work jobs and things like that. And, like, all evidence points to this guy not even being able to... He shouldn't even be a top 50 heavyweight based on experience, his profile, all those things. But guess what? Fabio Wardley is not only is he a top 50, top 10, top 15 heavyweight, this dude is the WBO interim champion, and he's in line to fight Alexander Usyk potentially for the world title, for the undisputed championship of the world. So they can make like the commentator said, they can make a movie about him already, based on what he's done in his life and his career. He deserves all the respect for the balls and the determination and the preparation he's put in. But the fight, in my humble opinion, the fight was ruined by once again Howard Foster. The same way Carl Froch versus George Groves 1 was ruined by Howard Foster. And it is what it is. Shout out to my guy Matt Borgeson with the first super chat of the live. He says, how was that a bad stoppage when you have 30 plus punches unanswered? You can't be upset about it. Parker didn't contest it either. Parker did not do enough. Parker was up on all the scorecards. Parker had all his senses about him. He didn't get dropped. He didn't have that glazed look that a fighter gets in their eyes before you wave a fight off. I feel like, you know what, you're already in the 11th round. This fight's for the interim championship. The chance to become the mandatory. Why don't you let that be a clear, definitive outcome? Parker has a granted chin. He might have survived that, or Fabio Wardley might have even had a more sensational knockout. But go back and watch the exchange. I had no emotions watching this fight. I watched it right here. I was completely calm. I don't hate Wardley, and I'm not no Parker fanboy or nothing like that. I like Parker, but I'm not no fanboy. So I watched it like with a very, very unbiased view. And when they showed the replay, literally the last 4 or 5 punches that Wardley threw, none of them landed. None of them landed. I understand. Like, trust me, I understand all the speaking points because I know when I years ago when I first walked into a boxing gym and someone was beating the shit out of me. One of my coaches said, "BT, you can't get let somebody get 10, 15, or however many punches unanswered. You're gonna put the referee in a very tough position, and that's kind of that is what happened here. But I just feel like in a fight of this magnitude, where you're fighting for the chance to become the mandatory challenger, the interim champion to Alexander Usyk, you gotta almost treat it like a world title fight. I feel, but again, they're in the UK. Parker, I'm sure, knew that going in, and it is what it is. But listen, it's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. This is the immediate aftermath of Fabio Wardley upsetting Joseph Parker. Very great fight. I'm gonna dissect it round by round here in a second. I'm gonna talk about Howard Foster here in a second. I'm gonna talk about what's next for Wardley. As far as my scorecard, because we got Pops here. I want Pops to come give his view. As far as my scorecard, I thought Wardley, they were in the 11th round, so they completed 10 rounds. I thought Wardley was down 7-3. 7-3. I thought he won 3 rounds. Maybe you could say 4 if you want to be real generous. But it was a very close fight where even despite the rounds scored, Fabio Wardley was, in my opinion, even when Parker was putting rounds together, I never felt he was genuinely out of the fight. I felt like he was always in the fight. But it is what it is. It's heavyweight boxing. And we shall see what happens. But before we get into the fight, I want to swing it over to Pops. Pops is here. You guys haven't seen Pops on live in a long time. Pops,
Right.
you got any thoughts about the fight?
Yeah, first of all, before I came to see the fight, when my son called me in, before he called me in, he told me right before the fight even started, before the fighters were in the ring, that the referee that was refereeing the fight between Wardley and Parker was a referee that's very common in stopping fights. So he was telling me that if Parker needs to win, he gets into any kind of fights, any kind of battle where he's not throwing punches, the fight will automatically stop. He'll stop the fight automatically. I didn't believe it because he could have stopped that in the 8th or 9th round. He didn't do it. So what are you talking about? And then I finally seen with my own eyes what Brendan was talking about. A lot of times referees, referees like that, that have habits like that. It's not really good for the fans to enjoy and see the reality of the fight. But with all that being said, I just wanted to clear up what Brendan said before the whole fight happened. That he said the referee was going to call it, and that's how it ended to be.
And the thing is, it was a great fight. It wasn't a good fight. It was a great fight because you go and you watch this fight. First round, Joseph Parker's coming out. He's putting that jab right on Wardley. And I'm telling him first round, I'm like, yo, Joseph Parker's already got his timing down. I think it's gonna be a long night for Fabio, right? The next round, Wardley wound up hurting Joseph Parker right in the second round. So I'm like, okay. And the thing is, I know Wardley can punch because he's knocked guys out, plenty of guys out at a lower level. But this is Joseph Parker we're talking about. He has been dropped, but he's got a granite chin. And he's only been dropped by like the biggest punches of this era. Guys like Wilder, guys like Zhang. So right there in the second round, I knew Wardley. I already knew Wardley was a dangerous fighter, Parker, considering that it's in the UK and he can punch. But that right there was an immediately
Yeah.
established that this guy has world class power.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. Nothing taken away from Wardley. Love his story. Loved how he came up. It's like a fairy tale, fantasy story, like his Fish Eye says, and Warren said. So I'm happy for him. He did what he was supposed to do. Parker didn't show any kind of aggressiveness going into the last round. So,
Too many unanswered
yeah.
punches.
So and this replay happens all the time in boxing, but that is no excuse. Let's give the flowers to Fabio Wardley. Gracefully lost by Parker, and I'll leave it like that. But I really think that the fight could have gone on that last round. It was good either way.
Yeah. As far as Parker, like after that second round when he got hurt, I feel like after that second round, he pretty much up until pretty much the damn stoppage, he was in control of the whole fight. He was in control of the whole fight. He was out jabbing Wardley. Every time he would throw that double jab, Wardley would kind of angle out to the right, so his head would be like right here. So Parker would throw the double jab, and it was the left hook to the head, and it was landing. Every time Parker would throw a 3-punch combination, the third punch always seemed to land on Fabio Wardley. And there was like a 3 round before the knock before the stoppage. There was about a 3 round stretch of Wardley was reaching. He looked like he was tired. He looked like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
But this is where I will give Wardley credit. This is where Wardley's not a pound for pound fighter, right? He's not. He's never gonna be on a pound for pound list or shit. Who knows? We didn't think he'd be Parker,
Yeah.
but he's got some things that some fighters who are way more skilled than him don't have. This guy has a set of as the British say, some bullocks, some balls. This guy has balls the size of King Kong because when Parker was putting these rounds together over and over again, putting that jab on him over and over again, putting the left hook on him over and over again, this dude did not look for a way out. This dude fought. He bit down.
Mm-hmm.
He fought harder, and even if the Howard Foster thing, that's not on him. Like the Howard Foster situation, that has nothing to do with Wardley and how he fought and how he approached the fight and how he responded to adversity. So I want to make that very known. Just because I think Howard Foster is a scumbag and a terrible referee and someone that always seems to be involved in some bullshit, just because all those things are true, that does not take away from the fact that when Wardley was getting hurt and when things weren't going his way, he bit down harder, he fought better, and he went to those deep, dark, uncomfortable places that most fighters are not prepared to go to. You understand? And that's why you talk about his story, you talk about what he's done in his life and his career. Like I said, this guy was a white collar boxing, and for those of us in the States, you guys may not even know what the hell white collar boxing is. But in so many words, white collar boxing is pretty much like if you have an office job and you work in a cubicle somewhere in corporate America, when they have these charity boxing events that they do sometimes, you basically train for a certain amount of time and you participate in these like charity boxing events, right? So that's where he came from. Dude had a regular job. He was a recruiter. His job was to get people. Their jobs for like social work and things like that.
Yeah.
And then he did 4 white collar fights and he jumped straight into the pros. And his whole career, to his credit, Wardley's hurt his whole career when he was getting ready to fight guys like Nathan Gorman for the British title. He heard he wasn't good enough. When he was getting ready to fight even a guy like Justice Hooney or even Frazier Clark. Frazier Clark was an Olympic medalist, right? And his guy came from white collar boxing. He was heard he wasn't good enough, right? In this fight, Joseph Parker's better than you. You're not good. So this guy continues to defy the odds. I've never seen anything like this in boxing, right? So I respect the hell out of him because I really know, even though I never fought as a pro or competed as an amateur, I've been around it. I've been around it. I've seen so many different levels of boxing, going to the gym throughout my travels out throughout the world. I know how hard it is. I have an idea of how hard this shit is. So anybody who comes from what he came from to get where he is now, they ought to be respected. But Howard Foster he really ruined, to me, he ruined this fight. And I know people will say like America is corrupt, and fair play, like American boxing has had its fair share of corruption, but I'm sorry, like pound for pound, fight for fight, I don't know if there's worse referees and judges than British boxing. It's bad. It's bad. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, pause, but I feel like right now because British boxing is not in a great place. We're just being honest. I know what's his name. I know Max Kellerman will tell you that British boxing, and Mike Comridge will tell you that British boxing is in the best place it's ever been. But that's not the truth. The truth is that there's no Brits that have the whole heavyweight titles right now, and the only British world champion in any weight classes is Nick Ball. Right? So they're desperate. British boxing is desperate to get somebody back in the driver's seat of boxing. You understand? And I feel like, as many guys they can get in line, whether it be Wardley, Talma, they're going to do that. So that's why I stand. Horrible stoppage.
Yeah, like I said, we can live this on and on and on, but the reality is we've seen this movie play before. Everything was going in all favor of Parker. It just amazed me that this guy had the will and the power to stay in there. And you did say it. You said in the second round, you told me that this guy right here, what you really liked about Fabio was that. So you were giving him flowers too.
While we're watching the fight, I was giving him flowers.
You were saying this guy right here is not one of those boxers that's gonna back down and just sit back. Mm-hmm. You hear him, he's gonna come back with some bombs or two. He's gonna become aggressive. He's not gonna just stand there and be a punk. And sure enough.
Nah, he ain't no punk. That's what I'm saying.
There was before they even the stoppage that round, the round before, 2 rounds before that, when Fabio just lit it up, man. I thought Pac had the stoppage. Hit him an ear and hit him, you know. And then this guy coming on was like, "Oh shit, put my cape on," and nailed the shit out of him. I'm like, "Oh fucking!" And I thought he was punched out. To be honest.
Yes. So listen, shout out to all 61 of you
Yeah,
guys
like-
here. Guys, listen, there's 61 of y'all here. Don't be stingy, guys.
Yeah.
Run that shit all the way up. It takes half a second of your time to smash that like button. Go run it up. Let's get to like 40, 50 likes here real soon. A lot of you guys just tuning in. Make sure you let me know what city, what state, what continent you guys you're tuning in from, and I want to see how international we are on the broadcast.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are just popping in, who didn't hear what I said earlier, what I said previously about this fight, about the stoppage, my thoughts on the stoppage are that the stoppage was terrible. It was
Cool.
garbage. It's one of the worst. Now look, Wardley deserves all the credit for how he stayed in there when things got tough. He didn't back down. He wasn't no punk. And he showed that, like, even if you would have lost this fight, I wasn't gonna come on here and say that Fabio Wardley still is one of the top. I would have said he's a top 10 heavyweight, a legitimate top 10 heavyweight, because he was in there one of the arguably the best heavyweight in the world who's not a champion right now, and look what he did. Look what he did. Look what he was doing to him. Consistently hurting him throughout the fight.
Do you think that I know we're talking about this,
But it was a bullshit stop.
But do you think he's gonna bring a lot of this is gonna be I'm not gonna say easier don't disrespect any fighters, easier fight for Usyk, or it's gonna be more difficult fight fighting a younger fighter hungry like Fabio? Or you really
If they get Howard Foster for referee, Fabio Wardley might be able to be anybody
say,
because
the
he's
fix
got
it?
power. Like he's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
power.
yeah, fix
He
it.
gonna let that shit fly, and all he gotta do is hurt you.
Yeah.
All he gotta do is all Fabio gotta do is hurt you one
Yeah.
time. They
Yeah.
get Howard Foster in there to do the magic and shit, man. Like, but shout out to Hyro. I know Hyro's having a great time because he said, "I told you." He says, Fabio Wardley, I can't believe you couldn't see it. You might need to change your description. Now they're saying Parker came in heavy. No, I'm not saying that. I thought Parker, when he came in at 262, I actually thought, even though he did come in a little heavier, I thought he maintained his speed very well. I thought this was a very good version of Joseph Parker. So on paper, it's an amazing win for Fabio Wardley. I just think that, the fight should have gone to the 12th round, or you should have allowed Fabio Wardley to really have a more definitive outcome. I feel like Howard Foster does what he always does in these fights. He inserted himself and made himself the story of the fight. The story of this fight was going to be the fight itself. You understand? It was going to be the fight itself. But Howard Foster had to insert himself and make himself the story of the fight. So it's bullshit. Shout out to everybody. We got my main man. We got England in the building. What else we got in the building? We got England in the building. Shout out to my boy Musa. He said Howard Foster strikes again. Yeah, bro, it's ridiculous. It wasn't a robbery, but the shots weren't landing. It's a robbery. It's a robbery. Parker was literally up on two. He was up on two of the scorecards, and one of them was even. So he was on his way to at the worst a majority decision win on the scorecards. I want $500 off Wardley. Shout out to Howard. Listen, if you want money off Fabio Wardley, you're gonna love Howard Foster. Howard Foster probably helped some of y'all pay your light bill. Pay some rent. But I mean, I don't got no dog in the race. I just felt like it was a terrible stoppage. And I'm gonna tell y'all this: like y'all want fighters to go to the UK. You guys want fighters from other. You guys want American fighters to go to the UK. You want Japanese fighters to go to the UK. You want Mexican fighters to go to the UK. And it's like, man, like there's so many robberies throughout the course of the last history of boxing where these British fighters are gonna get questionable stoppages, get decisions, and truth be told, it's like right now I in all my time covering boxing, I don't think there's a more dangerous time for a foreign fighter to go fight in the UK than right now, because British boxing is in a terrible state right now. They only have one world champion. That guy is Nick Ball. Look how they're moving Nick Ball. They don't want him to fight nobody. What the damn? Honestly. So it's like They are looking to make anybody and everybody a champion, a superstar, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna go ahead and try to do it by hook or by crook. So look, if you're an opposing fighter and you sign a contract to fight in the UK, you're not from the UK, you better go in there and get a knockout, and you better not get hurt yourself. And if you get hurt, you better start throwing some damn punches because as you saw Joseph Parker, Wardley didn't have to land, and they went ahead and they just waved it off in the 11 at that latter stage, 11th round. Like they didn't even let the shit go to the 12th round. So, you know, what you want to do? Shout out to everybody here. Bro, I like Parker too. I didn't even know who Howard Foster was. Sure as shit, know him now though. So for those that don't know, because I understand not all of us have been watching boxing, you know, since you know Howard Foster's other controversial stoppages. Howard Foster, the reason why myself and a lot of other boxing fans are so bullish on Howard Foster is because he was the referee for the infamous Carl Froch George Groves fight, the first fight. In that fight, much like this fight, George Groves was boxing the shit out of Carl Froch. Carl Froch was losing the majority of the rounds. Carl Froch had one spell. He had one spell where you know he really hurt George Groves and had success, but Groves still had his wits about him, and he waved the fight off very prematurely late in the fight, just like this fight. It's literally just like this fight. The only difference is that this fight, you know, I'll probably say that fight was bigger than this fight. You know, even though this fight was a big fight because you know they're fighting for the chance to fight Usyk, I feel like that fight was bigger, in my opinion. But we'll see. Parker is chinny, and I knew Woolley would stop him. Parker has been dropped several times in his career. Parker didn't get stopped. Howard Foster pulled some bullshit. That wasn't no stop. That's one of the most bullshit stoppages I've ever seen. That's up there. That one might be worse than Andre Ward versus Kovalev too. That one was probably more legitimate. At least Kovalev was hunched over before you know. At least he was hunched over, even though Andre was hitting him, you know, beneath the belt. At least this Parker had his wits about him. Like he had his wits about him. He didn't get hit in the last 5 or 6 punches that was thrown. Didn't get hit with them. I really feel like this is one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen. He never got dropped. I mean, he was buckled briefly here and there, but he never got dropped. Like it's bad. If it was the other way around and Parker had Woolley on the ropes, would the ref have jumped in and stopped the fight? No chance. Well, we actually don't have to wonder because there were a couple of instances where Parker had Woolley hurt. He had him on the ropes, and you know we didn't like. I never thought that they were gonna stop it because you know, they weren't going to. Do you think Usyk versus Parker will happen now, or was it delayed a year or two? I'll tell y'all this, man. As far as Usyk with Parker, that fight's never happening. What y'all just witnessed today, I mean, there's still good fights with Parker, but what y'all just witnessed today was Parker being moved out of the way. You understand? He got moved out of the way. When you guys see me talk about politics and boxing, and I tell you guys how certain fighters are going to be used to get other fighters moved out of the way. Some of you guys will say like, "Oh, BT, you're being biased, or you're like, or you're being negative," and I'm like, nah, that shit happens. The boxing industry has the guys they want to win, and they have the guys that they don't really give a fuck about, right? Parker is the latter. He's a good fighter, but he's one that they don't really give a fuck about because he's not gonna bring in the money that a guy like, you know, Wardley's a British fighter. Like he's starting to sell tickets. He's starting to become a bit of a name there. Like they don't care about him, and that's not some of y'all are saying conspiracy. It's not conspiracy. See, y'all think it's conspiracy because y'all don't talk to boxing managers. Y'all aren't privy to the half the shit I'm privy to with these. I hear how promoters talk about fighters. I hear how managers talk about fighters. This shit exists. So I feel like they moved him out of the way. Maybe they could do like Parker versus Dubois. I mean, they both are coming off losses. That's a fight that I think does make a lot of sense at this stage. But I don't know, man. I told you Frank Warren chose Parker for a reason, even though he was the interim. Parker was supposed to lose to Zhang, who Warren promotes. Well, I'll still say this to you, Hiro. He didn't get chosen. Parker decided to fight. Parker fought because Parker's not a bitch like a lot of these fighters in boxing today. He could have just sat on his ass and just waited and waited and waited, and it probably would have been the smarter thing to do. But because he's a real fighter, he said, you know what, I'll fight Wardley. I could beat him, and it backfired on him. So that's what it is. Shout out to my main man, Breaking Bad Box. He said, "What's up, BT? Good to see you live again. It's good to be live again, man. Getting back to it, getting the channel up and active again, and that's what it is. So good to see you too, and good to see everybody here. Good to see all y'all here. There's 84 y'all here. Make sure you guys go ahead. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Definitely subscribe, super chat, all that blase, all that great stuff. There's not a whole lot going on in boxing right now, so that's another thing too. It's like the boxing calendar isn't exactly chock full of great fights right now. This is probably one of the fights I would say I was looking for the most forward to close out the year. So I feel like that's why I'm even a little more pissed off because the boxing schedule has been so damn slow thanks to Turkey Al Sheikh monopolizing the damn sport, and so that's why it's hitting a little harder right now. We're gonna have so much time to marinate on all this, but yeah, there's not a lot of big fights. The next like notable fight probably isn't until like I know you got Buati versus Zach Parker I think next week, but let's be real. I like that fight, but do y'all care about that fight? I would say most, especially in America, probably don't. So the next notable fight is probably Virgil Ortiz versus Lubin. So we're gonna have some time to marinate on this one. Let me see. We got my man. Facts. Fabio didn't come out last A side. No, he didn't come out last as the A side, but he kind of was the A side because his promoter was putting on the fight. It's a setup. Wardley has quick hand, very, very much so. Is Park underrated? He's very likable, but it seems like people don't give a fuck about him, like you said. No, I think he's underrated. How old is Parker now? Parker's he's got to be about 34? What is Parker now? Parker's 33, 34? He's 33 years old. So what? He won his first world title when he was 24 years old. And he was losing a lot of fights in his career like he shouldn't have. I don't think he should have lost Dillian White. Anthony Joshua fight, he got screwed in that fight. The referee wouldn't let him work on the inside at all in that fight. And he messed his whole game plan up. He couldn't adjust. Joe Joyce. I feel like Joe, honestly, I feel like out of all the guys that Parker has lost to, the only guy that ever beat him, like, without any real controversy at all was Joe Joyce. Wardley got help from Howard Foster. Joshua had help from the ref. And, no, that's not true. Dillian White beat him. And Joe Joyce. Yeah, that's it. All the other times he lost, I feel like it was bullshit. But that's just my opinion. But as far as Wardley now, let's talk about Wardley because maybe him versus Usyk. Let's try to make sense of that. Let's try to break that shit down because I guess we have to, right? We know Usyk's not gonna fight Mosley Tama because Usyk pretty much said he's not gonna fight Mosley Tama. And Usyk is a guy that I think he's kind of he's proved himself he's completed boxing. So no one's gonna scoff at him if he doesn't fight certain guys. I think he's gonna fight him. Straight up, I think he's gonna go ahead and fight him. I think Usyk is gonna go ahead and fight Wardley because Wardley, he's gonna see the Parker fight. He's gonna see the Justice Hooney fight. That's the crazy thing about it, right? Like I like Wardley. I got nothing against him, but I'm just being honest. Even his last fight against Justice Hooney, Justice Hooney was beating him, and that was a questionable stoppage. So it's like, bruh, like he's kind of been very lucky. Some would say he's been the beneficiary of corruption. I'm not gonna say that. I'll just say he's being lucky, right? God has shined his favor upon him because he works hard in the gym, right? We'll take that optimistic approach here. A lot of you guys are saying that Joseph Parker got screwed against Dillian White. Now with the Dillian White fight, I don't like to say that the referee helped out Dillian White in that fight because really and truthfully, I feel like Parker was very gun shy in that fight, and there was a lot of moments where he wasn't letting his hands go. As far as that fight though, I'll tell y'all this. Parker had Dillian White out on his feet. Worse than Wardley had Parker out on his feet. And he didn't get a stoppage in that fight. If Howard Foster was refereeing that fight, and I'm not even sure who refereed that fight, but I'm saying if Howard Foster was refereeing that fight, when Parker had Dillian White out on his feet, would they have waved the fight off for him? No. So it's like, come on, man. Like Parker just look in boxing, and I'm just telling y'all what it is. Y'all can sit here and say what you want, but I know this fight game. I don't know about quantum physics. I don't know about a lot of things in life, but I know how this fight game works. And in boxing, you got your fighters that the promoters care about, and you got your fighters that the promoters don't give a fuck about. You understand me? So Parker's been the latter. He comes from New Zealand. There's not a lot of international TV money behind him. To be honest with you, they're probably happy as hell that he's out of the way because now Warren can go do Dillian White versus Derek Chisora 3. You know, he could probably do if they don't do Wardley versus Usyk, they could do Wardley versus Adelaide. They keep it all in the UK, and Warren can keep everything in the fold and control the heavyweight division. Maybe Parker fights Hrgovic because those are two guys that the boxing industry doesn't really give a fuck about. Like they don't care about Hrgovic because he's from Croatia and he don't got a lot of international TV money behind him. Same thing with Parker. So maybe now they'll fight each other because they're both, they both got losses in their careers. Parker's coming off of a loss. Hrgovic is coming off of a fight with was it Joe Joyce or whatever. So, make of it what you will. It's because Parker can't sell BT. No money in New Zealand. Parker has been the fighter in the UK as the B-side for years. He can sell in New Zealand, but again, it's not about selling. It's that the international TV money in New Zealand is not what it is in the UK. When you come from places like the UK, America, Japan, Mexico, and you get those you get those big TV contracts behind you, get that big TV money behind you, it's different. So if you're a fighter coming from, a country where boxing is not a hotbed, you're up against it. You understand? It was an early stoppage. Howard Foster needs the sack. My boy Abdullah Usman. Yeah, man, it's bad. It's brutal. At this point, Parker is beginning to be just a name. The Parker is still good, but like I said, there's levels. He got screwed. Honestly, he got screwed. It is what it is. I'm not gonna hold this one against him. I still like to see Parker get his AJ rematch. I feel like he could beat AJ, but I don't know. I don't know if they bring it if they bring in Howard Foster for AJ, shit. All AJ gotta do is land a jab and they're gonna stop the damn fight because that's what they do in the UK, And listen, I have a soft spot. Like I love boxing, so if I love boxing, I can't hate British boxing. But man, sometimes I really do hate British boxing because when British boxing has these down periods where like they don't have no champions or they don't have many champions, they get extra desperate to manufacture fighters, and that's where like bullshit starts to happen more than ever. And right now we're in one of those periods where Nick Ball he's carrying British boxing by himself as its only world champion. My man Mickey says, what happened to the U.S. heavyweights? It's a great question, man. I mean, a lot of them, I think a lot of it goes, the reason why there's not as many great U.S. heavyweights anymore, the amateur boxing program has had the least amount of investment it's had in years. That's number one. Number two, other sports, like NFL and NBA, basketball, American football, bigger athletes are going to those sports for college because it's there's more benefits with it. You're not boxing in America as a heavyweight if you don't come from like the ghetto or you weren't born into it. That's just the reality. That's the reality in most cases. And a lot of the heavyweights just here aren't very good right now. Jerry Anderson just got knocked out last year against Piccoli. Lorenzo Medina, my boy, got knocked out recently. Got his O snatched. Richard Torres Jr. is good, but we don't know what he'll be. They're garbage right now. American heavyweights are garbage. They've been bad for like the last 20 years, damn near, as a whole. So, hopefully hopefully somebody can rise up and because we need an American heavyweight. Let's be real. We need an American heavyweight. This shit's getting ridiculous. At least it wasn't a Tony Weeks level stoppage. Howard Foster is the British Tony Weeks. They're one and the same. Parker just wasn't acting enough. Even if he did survive the 11th, he would have got hurt in bad. Well, I would have liked to have seen him get the chance to. I mean, I feel like he's earned that much given the guys he's beating like Wilder and Zhang and all the guys he's fought, the heavyweight, the fantastic heavyweight he's been for the division. I feel like he's earned that much to go out on his shield. And Jairo, you're out of here. You're out of here. Fuck you. Get out of here. Not time for this shit today. Joshua, oh my bad, not him. I blocked. Hold on. My bad. Hold on. I clicked the wrong guy on accident. Unhide, my bad. Only Hyro. We just wanted to get Hyro out of here because Hyro was talking about, I hope you're not wrong about Norman versus Haney. Tired of Hyro and this shit today. Dude had the most ridiculous stoppage on earth, and Hyro's gonna sit here and act like it wasn't one of the most ridiculous stoppages ever. Parker, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying I was young at the TV for Parker to throw some damn punches. I'm not saying that like I feel like he should have definitely threw some more punches for sure. But at the same time, it's like, okay, just because one guy is throwing a bunch of punches, it doesn't mean if the other fighter has his senses about him and the referee can see them. He had a vantage point where he could see Parker's eyes. He could see Parker's feet. Parker hadn't been dropped. There was no visible signs that he was about to get knocked the hell out. So you allow him to continue until he has a certain gaze in his eyes or things like that. My man Jones Tame says, I knew Parker wasn't going to get knocked out. Listen, if you picked Wardley by stoppage or bet on him, congrats to you. But that wasn't a legitimate stoppage. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I'll give Wardley his credit for being a true champion and fighting, you know, tooth and nail while he was hurt and while he was losing a lot of these rounds. He will get all the credit in the world for me for the gumption that he showed. I can't take that from him. But Howard Foster is going to do what Howard Foster does. And there's been so many bad stoppages in boxing this week. Like, this fight was bad. Even in Japan, like, you had my man, the Mike Tyson Yokohama. You had Soa Tanaka fight Shoki Sakai. That was a bullshit stoppage in the 6th round. Like, it's ridiculous. And someone asked me earlier, what did I think about John Rio Casimiro losing to Kiya Nasuya Kameda? Now, I haven't watched it yet, but I really feel like, you know, Casimiro's been shot for years, and good for Kameda. It's a good one to have on his resume. But he's not really a guy that's going to threaten anybody on the world level. But he's a fun little action fighter. But I heard the fight was boring. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I got to watch it later on and do my little video about it. But yeah, Parker really took a high risk reward fight and lost. Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like you know, from a management standpoint, I personally wouldn't have done it because I feel like if you're already in the position and you know that Parker's a guy that's not going to get the luck of the draw, like he's coming from New Zealand where there's not a lot of international TV money, and you know the powers that be could care less if a heavyweight from New Zealand is anything in the sport. So I feel like, you know what, they probably should have sat on the ranking. But you know what, then people would have said you did. But see, the thing is, this is my thing with boxing and boxing fans. If Parker would have sat in the rankings and you guys would have never heard from him, then you would hear people say, well, he needs to be more active. He needs to fight this guy. He should fight Fabio Wardley. You know, you would have heard people say like things like that. So you can't really win. That's why when you get in the ring, you got to go in there and perform. Was it that bad? Parker was hurt in the previous round and was discombobulated. Yes, it was that bad because Parker never got dropped. Parker had his wits about him, and Fabio Wardley missed like he missed like 4 of the last 5 punches he threw. They weren't landing. So what do people want? Joe Parker living the rest of his life as a vegetable? He was done, and Foster saved him. No. What do we want? We want a fight where the referees don't inject themselves into the fight when they don't need to. Parker was still there. He still had plenty of fight in him, and I feel like Wardley could have got a more definitive outcome. And plus, it was like the last, I'm gonna say, minute 80 seconds of the 11th round. If Parker weathers that storm, which there's many reasons to believe he would have weathered that storm because Joseph Parker is one of the most durable fighters in boxing. If he weathers that storm, you mean to tell me he couldn't have turned it around on the 12th? I don't know, man. I feel like he was screwed. Is Foster owned by the Mafia or Triads? Probably. He's probably owned by the same people that Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier in the NBA were betting with. I don't know if y'all heard about that in the NBA this week. You know, all these basketball players getting arrested, getting caught, betting on games. I feel like that's who Howard Foster's with. He's with the mob. Hold on. Shout out to MAW. He says for the super chat. He says hello, boxing fans. BT in the chat. It was a very entertaining fight. Wardley is a warrior, but yes, that was some fishy shit. Shake my head. That's what I'm saying. Like, I got nothing against Wardley. Wardley is awesome. Wardley's probably one of the best fighters from the UK right now. If we're just keeping it all the way 100, like, and that's crazy to say because he's a guy that had only 4 white collar fights, but he's one of the best fighters in the UK right now. Again, it's just like it's a terrible way to end such an amazing fight. Howard Foster was out there with Gilbert Arenas. Yeah, he was out there with Gilbert Arenas with the with the mob, man. This is the problem with British boxing. It is so disgusting. Parker was ahead by a mile and got robbed because he's not British. That's what I'm saying. When he fought Dillian White and he had Dillian White on Queer Street in the 12th round, ready to go, Dillian White is over here holding this guy like he's at his fucking high school prom. There's no sign of a stoppage. There's no sign of a stoppage. But as soon as Parker even shows the slightest bit of weakness, it's a stoppage. That's ridiculous. And then you guys wonder why guys don't want to go to the UK. You guys wonder why, a lot of y'all will ask me, y'all will say, BT, why don't your boy Angelo Leo go to the UK and fight Nick Ball? And I'm like, nah, hell no. Never. Is that lower that, please? Yeah. Parker's taking loads of heavy punches. The ref made the right decision. Well, hey, to each their own. We all have our opinions. I don't like it. But look, I hope my only hope for Joseph Parker for the last remaining parts of his career is that I hope that they, as a favor for them, just pulling this blatant corruption on with Howard Foster, I hope they at least allow him to fight Daniel Dubois because Daniel Dubois, when Parker was supposed to fight, Parker was supposed to fight him, and then Dubois mysteriously pulled out of the fight and then got a damn fight with Usyk again. So nah, man. Dubois need to come see Joseph Parker. He need to get punched upside of his head for ducking the fight, and they need to fight. That's what it is, Yeah, Ray. I ain't having it today. Like I'm trying to not be like negative about boxing because I spend a lot of time around it. I hear a lot of things. I deal with a lot of people that I don't necessarily like in this sport. And truth be told, it's hard to stay positive sometimes. And this is one of those fights I was looking forward to because it was a good fight and it was living up to it. It was actually far exceeding my expectation. But then, of course, Howard Foster does what Howard Foster always does. So it is what it is. If you crack your opponent and you keep punching without taking damage, it's a good trick to get her to stoppage by accumulation. I've seen stoppage like that before. No, me too. And I know I've seen it plenty of times too myself. And I know, like, just from being in the gym myself when I was younger, like, your trainers tell you, if you get in the corner, throw some damn punches, tie him up. Don't put yourself in a position where the referee has to make a decision because if you do that, there's gonna be times where it don't go your way and they will wave it off. Every referee is different. Some referees, they have a tendency to stop fights, not count at all or not wave the fights off early enough. Some referees like premature stoppages, so it's just a matter of what kind of referee is in there. But either way, you don't want to put it in the referee's hands at all. Understand? From what I saw, both were tired from Wardley, was landing good shots, but Parker was dodging some. The time was left in the round. Parker could have come back. That's what I'm saying. There was less than 2 minutes left in the round. I feel like honestly, Wardley's probably gonna get. He's probably gonna get a title shot at Usyk because this is what Frank Warren wants. But his last 2 fights, he needs to rematch both of them. He needs to rematch Justice Honey, and he needs to rematch Parker. Straight up, he's been on the right side of questionable officiating, back to back fights, and of course. This is not his fault. He's only a fighter. He's only going in there and he's doing the best he can with what he's got. But I feel like both those guys got screwed. Can we show more appreciation for fighters like these guys taking the tough guys, unlike the tune-up king from Osaka? Which guy from Osaka are you talking about? The tune-up king. Who's the tune-up king from Osaka? Huh? Zaki's not from Osaka. Zaki's from Tokyo. Kameda? Why didn't they give a standing count like they did with Fury? I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like Parker got hit harder when he fought Zhang. And when he fought Zhang, there were parts in the Zhang fight where he got clipped harder than that, and they didn't think about waving it off. Give him a standing 8 count. Fixed Electronics says the harvest is near. Don't give up. Stay positive. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. I hope so, man, because I got back to America from training camp in the Bay Area, and then I had a time. I had time to reflect on training camp. I got down about a lot of things, so that's probably why I wasn't making no videos for like 10 days. But nonetheless, we're here. We're talking boxing, and we're gonna keep this thing going here on True School Sports because there's a lot of people out there, quiet as kept. There's a lot of people out there that want to see me fail, that want to see me flop, that want to see me just go away, and I can't give them the satisfaction of ever having that. Fuck them. We're gonna keep it going. True School Sports is here. The home of boxing. What's good? Big out to people in the skilled trades working regular jobs. Yeah, shout out to everybody out there working a regular job. Oh, Boots. He said Boots from Osaka. That's right, because I said that one time in a live. I said Boots from Osaka. Yeah, Boots. I hear you with Parker versus White. White was KO'd and was left to continue. That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, he gets to show that he's a warrior and that he has the big British warrior heart, but Parker can't be the Samoan warrior, the New Zealand warrior. Like, come on. Stuff like this adds a stain to boxing. It's a great fight run by a premature stoppage. Retire. He needs to retire. Straight up. Wardley, the fighter, gets my props. My respect for Fishy, Frank Wayne. Yeah, it is what it is, man. But nonetheless, that's what it is, guys. I mean, as far as this fight, I have nothing more to really say. I've said what I needed to say 10 times over. I'm going to continue to talk, though. I'll probably stay out here for like another 20, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. We'll see. We'll see. Depends on you guys. Depends on what kind of response we get. Make sure you smash that like button. We're here. Pop, you got anything you want to say? I know you're on the phone. You got anything you want to add about this fight or other fights? Because it's been a while. The people haven't seen you. When I was out there in the Bay Area, they're like, man, we miss Pops.
Yeah,
so you got anything you want to add?
It's a shame that the outcome was what it was. For the stoppage from the referee. Like I said from the beginning, I don't blame the fighters. The fighters want to do what they're supposed to do. I almost feel that I wonder if Parker really knew, or his corner knew, that this was one of those referees that stop fights clearly as they come and don't let the fighters fight. But that being said, I think Parker should hold his head up high. He's one of those fighters that throwback fighters that will fight anybody, any day, any time. They showed it today. And it's unfortunately the way it was. We've seen this play before. And for Fabio, I love the story, regardless of what happened today. I love where this guy came from fucking ghost town, from nowhere.
Ipswich Town.
And worked himself to where he's at now. And nothing was given to him. So I've always loved those stories. And to even get the opportunity that he got to fight a guy like a prominent Parker and beat him, regardless of what the decision was, we're not, it's good for him. So disappointed because Brendan called us out. He told me before even the fight started. We're watching the
introductions.
No, the one before that, the other fight when I walked in here, and Brendan told me just be leery of the referee. That he's a call. He stops fights, and then he gave also props to Fabio. Said Fabio is not one of those punks who's gonna sit there and get hit and back up and let Parker intimidate him, and he showed it today. So congratulations to Ipswich. Congratulations for all you guys being here. And so the story goes, the record he's playing, whether it's scratch or not, we already know.
Yeah. They want to know from you, Pop, what's for dinner tonight?
We had potatoes, roast beef, and green beans. That was made downstairs. I just had a little bit. That's it. I have been cooking in a minute, but yeah. we got some like this. We got.
I'm about to. I'm gonna be here talking to you guys. I'm watching the Panthers game in the background. They're playing the Knights right now. But whenever this live is done, I'm gonna go get me a nice large Coke, and I'm gonna stay awake through the night and catch up on all my boxing content that I haven't talked about. Cause there's quite a lot of videos that I want to get to. But until then, get y'all questions in.
When is what's the name fight? Norman and
November 22nd. Freaking Harold talking about something.
I thought it was November 5th.
November 22nd.
Oh,
How talking about something. Hope you're not wrong with that fight like you with this one. Fuck him, man.
Harold, you guys understand this is.
I ain't talking to him for like 3 weeks.
This thing's been going on for years, my friends. Harold is a big PBC fan, and he loves to get under Brendan's skin. They're like the best friends. The best brothers. They hate each other. tell you the truth. So it's nothing new with Haro.
I gotta unhide him. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi with the 10 euro super chat. He says, "Lil BT and Pops, I don't want to change the subject for long, but any chance did you watch Casemiro Kameda fight? It looked like Casemiro's eye exploded, blood flowing by the end of the night." I haven't had a chance to watch it. I was I went to sleep because I went to bed late last night. But I just from the little bit of highlights I have seen and from what I've read, it looked like that John Rio Casemiro in Kameda, that the fight was boring and that pretty much like I thought it would probably turn out to be an exciting fight because Casemiro generally has an exciting style. Kameda is an all action fighter. Everything pointed to them, having an exciting fight, but I heard it was anything but an exciting fight. So I haven't watched, so I can't really speak to that. But I mean, I guess what I can say about Kiyonosuke Kameda is that good win for him. I mean, I know people can downplay his win and say he beat a washed up Casemiro, but Kiyonosuke Kameda is not a world class talent. So for him to even get a washed up, Casemiro on his resume is an accomplishment. And I would say, he fought very well against Picasso. Picasso, one of the top contenders out there. So, he's having very quietly. I feel like Kameda, even though he's lost to Neri, he's lost to Picasso, and now he beats Casemiro, I feel like he's actually had a good 2020 fight, even though he's 1-2. He's improving. Parker made all those changes on advice from his loser mate Tyson Fury, another seriously overhyped boxer. No comment on. I mean, you can say Fury is whatever you want about Fury, but I'm not gonna say anything bad about Parker. So people saying Parker got robbed, all 4 lost. How did he get robbed by Joe Joyce? I'm not hating, but they're wrong. I didn't say he got robbed against Joe Joyce. I said that I think Joe Joyce is the only guy that beat him legitimately. Joshua got a lot of help from the ref. Wardley got help from the ref, and even to a degree with Dillian White. I'm not gonna really push back too much about Dillian White. I feel like White, Parker had a lot of rounds where it wasn't letting his hands go. He had Adrian Broner syndrome in that fight, but he had Dillian White out on his feet way worse than he was out on his feet when he fought Wardley, and they didn't wave it off. So you could say White got a little help from the ref down the stretch because he was allowed to hold and do those kind of things. But I won't push back too hard on that one. Yeah, no, everybody was talking about Casemiro fighting Inoue. That's been done for years. Like, they had that fight signed before the pandemic. It didn't happen, and after that, it was never gonna happen. Casemiro went over to the PBC. He fought like Duke Micah and them kind of guys, and yeah, it was never gonna happen again. Let me see if I can find Haro. Maybe unhide Haro. That shit pissed me off, man. Let me unhide this guy. Where is he? Okay, so Haro, if you're there in the chat, I doubt you are, but if you're there in the chat, you've been unhidden. I think AJ beat Joe convincingly. He did beat him. He beat him convincingly, but the reason why the fight was terrible. AJ versus Joseph Parker was a terrible fight, and the reason why it was a terrible fight was because Parker had a game plan where he wanted to work on the inside, and the referee would not let him work on the inside at all. Every time Parker closed the gap, the referee would be like, "No, you can't work on the inside." So it was ridiculous. Once I saw Patty Donovan in Parker's corner, I knew it was not going to go his way. Oh man, yeah. I mean, that was another one. I mean, Patty Donovan versus Crockett. That was one that a lot of people didn't like. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Life goes on. Reversely says so. Angel Leah versus Kiyonosuke in Japan. Listen. I'll make this very clear. Angelo went to Japan for Tomoki because he's a world champion and they paid a lot of money. But Nikita Nakano is no world champion, and Kiyonosuke Kameda is not even ranked. So all these Japs are gonna have to start coming to New Mexico, in Las Vegas. Yes, all these Japanese fighters unless you're Inoue, and even he gotta come to America. Unless you're like Inoue, there's no way in hell Angelo's going to Japan for Nakano or Kameda. So I know you're joking, but we're not. I'm not even. I'm not. I want to get out in front of that now. I want Haney to lose, but we have to be more objective because you were confident that Parker was going to stop him, and this is how Howard Powell's popping back in. He might have. He might have stopped him. Howard Foster ruined the fight. You don't stop him if a fighter doesn't get dropped. He's never touched the canvas. There's no ridiculous swelling. He has his senses about him, and he's still responsive. You don't just wave the fight out because Fabio does a bolo punch and misses. No. What the fuck? What are we doing? The ref split. Yes. See, MAW knows when Parker fought AJ. Anytime Parker closed the gap, the referee would never let Parker work on the inside. And the handful of times Parker was able to work on the inside, he found a lot of success there. So there's like 0 chance that Haney would beat Norman. It would have to be a fix. I won't say that. Devin's got a chance. But shit, I mean, they're already talking about that Ryan Haney fight being on the table. So I mean, there's that. You know, we know that Devin is a Muslim fighter. Devin is Muslim, Turkey's Muslim. You never know. He might look out after his Muslim brother, and you never know. But one thing about Brian Norman that I like about him is the mentality. Is like he says, look, I got the judge, I got the jury right here. So he's not coming. He's not gonna come here to box. He's coming here to get Devin Haney out of there. But he can box. I feel like he can box. Mike C says this wasn't no upset. I kept saying Fabio would win, and then he put the GOAT emoji. Listen, I love Fabio. Good for him. I think he's great. I think he's great for the sport of boxing, but I just think that we need to pack Howard Foster out of here. It's ridiculous. Maybe if Fabio Wardley would have knocked him out later on in the 11th round, maybe he would have knocked him out in the 12th. But I just feel like, you don't do that. You don't wave a fight off like that. The Kamedas can't even host a fight in Japan right now. It would be in Kyrgyzstan. Well, we're not going to no Kyrgyzstan. He coming to New Mexico. A lot of these fighters are gonna have to start coming to New Mexico. So get ready for that. Get ready for some of them guys in the top 15 to start coming to New Mexico, in Vegas, and these kind of places. Because Angel done been over the whole world. He fought in Colorado, all these like 10 or 12 different states, 2 or 3 different countries. Nah, they coming to New Mexico. I didn't watch the fight. Parker is a bottle merchant. He always finds a way to lose. Damn. That's not true, but I feel Parker should have lost some weight for this fight. Not like him 260 plus Parker. He still had his hands beat, but he couldn't sustain the combinations. I thought he was just fine. I honestly didn't have a problem with the weight. I thought he carried his speed very, very well. But I really just think that Howard Foster. Really, when it comes down to it, it's 2 things. Fabio Wardley is tough as hell, and Howard Foster does what he does in his fights. So, we'll get Wardley versus Usyk. Wardley's already gotten this damn far, so why not go all the way? Go all the way. Go beat Usyk. I wouldn't rule it out because this guy always finds a way to win. Maybe they'll get Howard Foster for that fight. Maybe if what's his name? If Fabio Wardley hits Usyk with one of those body shots that Daniel Dubois hit him with, maybe they'll wave it off. Maybe this time they'll wave it off for a Brit. Because British boxing needs champions. It needs champions in the worst way humanly possible right now. Because if it was up to fairness and actually letting a guy have to win outright the right way, a lot of these Brits wouldn't be champions. Like, they're not going to win no titles right now. The British fighters aren't that good right now. First, Itama KOs White in 1 round, and now Fabio Wardley starts Joseph Parker. Maybe the next generation is starting to take over. Man, it's inevitable. It is. There's always different eras. The same guys can't rule the sport forever. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a sport. I'm not surprised that Dillian White went out. I thought it would at least go 3. She ended in 1 when he fought Itama. But yeah, they're definitely setting up the next generation. So we shall see how it goes. We shall definitely see. I'm now with this questionable stoppage. Now I'm curious. I'm curious to see because that fight next weekend is a Queensberry fight. There's a fight going on between Joshua Buatsi and Zach Parker, and Buatsi. I've been big on Buatsi for a long time. I like Buatsi a lot. I'm a fan of him. He's one of my favorite British fighters, actually. And this it's a big fight for him. And he's not an outright Queen. Like, he just signed a Queensberry, but he hasn't always been a Queensberry fighter. Zach Parker, on the other hand, that's a guy that Queensberry has pumped a lot of money into, right? They were going to have a fight at Derby County Football Stadium when he fought Andrade. And like they didn't do that, right? Because Andre didn't, Andre pulled out, then they lowballed Andre. So I feel like they're gonna want to recoup the um the losses. So I feel like Buatsi is up. Buatsi can't really. Buatsi can't put himself in the position that Parker did. Even though he's a British fighter, he's not a Frank Warren fighter. Like he gets knocked out with Frank Warren. He was with Eddie Hearn. He was a Ben Shalom. He's been with every promoter in the UK. In big time boxing. So I feel like even though he's probably the favorite, they're gonna want Parker to win because that's who more money has been poured into over the years. So he's got to go in there and go in there to fight. Parker wasn't busy enough. He said that he changed his box mentality, but he couldn't let his hands go. Damn it, he could have won. Yeah, he could have won. He could have won the fight. I mean, I don't want to say it was easy because Wardley had him hurt multiple times before the stoppage throughout the fight, but he was winning. He was up. Like it was not debatable. Are you hearing any rumors of Wilder fighting Ajit? I keep seeing it circulating. I'm hearing it, but I don't know if it's true. I honestly don't know if it's true or not. I want to see why. I want to see Wilder fight Andy Ruiz. That's the fight I would like to see. Yes. Who was that? Who was that guy? Shout out to the Florida Panthers. The Panthers are playing right now. They just scored. Shout out to the Panthers. But who wins, Fabio or Opataya? That'd be a great fight. That'd be an amazing fight. A lot of speed. At heavyweight, shit. I don't feel comfortable picking against Fabio. Fabio beat Joseph Parker. So maybe Opataya. We'll go Opataya. Let's see if Fabio could beat another Samoan. Another Samoan who's not 260 pounds. Who scored that?
79.
Who's 79? That's a minor leaguer. I never seen 79. Go Panthers. They're playing the Las Vegas Golden Knights right now. They need to win. They stuck right now. But what's next for Yugo Osaki? That's a great question. From what I've been told from the powers that be, they're trying to get him out for a fight by the end of the year, but I don't really believe what they told me, so I will just sit here and I'll wait. I hope he fights by the end of the year. I asked which card it would be on, and they wouldn't tell me which card they're looking at, so promoters are going to do what promoters do, but we shall see. That's really the best fight at 108, and they're like holding the kid back for no reason. Let's go, Wardley versus Junior Fa. Junior Fa's a YouTuber. Junior Fa does what I do now. He's a YouTuber now. He's a boxing YouTuber. He's not boxing no more. What do I think about Daniel Dubois versus Frank Sanchez rumors? Thoughts on the fight? It's a good fight. I'll go with Dubois by stoppage. I gotta give Dubois his credit. I mean, Dubois is a guy that he's putting himself right back into a tough fight. There are like 4 or 5 fighters that turned down an IBF eliminator, including Mosey Tama. You understand? So Wardley's elite now. Everybody's got to put respect on his name. Listen, I was putting respect on his name before, but I mean, he beat one of the guys that I would definitely say I regard the highest in the division. And Parker's been one of the best heavyweights in the division for well over a decade now. So for sure. So we'll go like 10, 15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here. I just wanted to come here and get my little 2 cents in on this Wardley Parker atrocity. Hooney also way better than most young fighters. Justice Hooney was a good win. Oh, that's Cole Schwint. That's the guy. So we traded him. We traded Cole Schwint to the Flames in the Kachuk trade, right?
Yeah.
Then Schwint went to the Knights, and then the Knights waived Schwint, and then we got Schwint back. So he's coming back to bite them in the ass, and that's why they hit the sticks over there. For free. Wardley had my respect already. Just a premature stoppage, controversial. 1,000%. Moses Itama isn't beating either of the guys in the main event tonight. Ooh. Well, I don't think they're gonna match him. I don't know. I don't know if you guys had a chance to catch Mosey Tama, but they had Mosey Tama in the post fight interview, and he pretty much said because I guess him and Fabio train at the same gym. He said that he's never really seen Fabio as his competitor. He always seen him as a teammate. So he's on that Shakur Stevenson. He's like, yo, that's my bro. We ain't never gonna fight. I bet you Fabio will fight him though. Fabio will fight anybody. Fabio's a dog. Like, I know my dad over there. I know my dad. You have a lot to say about British fighters, but you can't say that about Fabio.
No, he was a tap.
He's not a tap British fighter.
Gumball fighter. That's not that. He's not.
What do you call fighters? Sometimes gumball machine.
Gumball machine fighter.
What's a gumball machine fighter?
Fucking sucks to the end.
Who's a gumball? When I say gumball machine fighter, like who's the first name that pops in your mind? Can I name one guy that I think you probably think is a gumball machine fighter? I want to make it clear. I'm not saying this guy's a gumball machine fighter, but he thinks he's a gumball machine fighter. Mario Barrios.
Fuck Mario Barrios. That he got the money with that motherfucker. Let's not get into that motherfucker.
I know. I'm not.
Yeah. That guy's just been in the right place at the right time.
Listen, he's overachiever.
Good management.
He's overachiever. He got all the most out of his talent.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mario Barrios.
God bless.
Do I think Fulton versus Foster will be entertaining at all? Yes, I do. I think Stephen Fulton's gonna make it entertaining. I actually think Foster will be the one that comes that tries to box and keeps that fight nice and long. I don't think Fulton is gonna keep that fight long. I think Fulton's gonna try to get in that pocket and really, do something with him. Reversely says Barrios is ass. Pops is right. There you go. Your birthday. Everybody at heavyweight still has Terramona problems. Yeah, Terramona. That's one guy that I know Matchroom is really high on. Terramona, beat a lot of these guys in the amateurs. Had a very good background. We'll see what will happen when he steps up to the post. Because I feel like he's right now. I'm not saying he's not good, but I feel like he's Matchroom's version of Jalalov, like a guy with a big amateur background who ain't fought no one yet. So we'll see what happens when he steps up. Who is worse, Barrios, Wardley, or Crocker? What do you think? Did you watch Lewis Crocker fight? The Irish guy? The one with the IBF title? Did you watch that fight?
No. Well, they all seem to fall in the same category, so whichever you feel comfortable with picking. Barrios and what's the other guy? I know two of them.
Yeah.
I remember Crocker.
Well, here's a good question. What do you think about this, Pops? And shout out to longtime viewer, my boy Brandon Hooker. He says, I'm waiting for the highlights to drop, BT. Would Fabio beat Richard Torres Jr. or Andy Ruiz?
That's what we were talking about. That
well, what was funny you mentioned that fight with Richard Torres. I told my dad around the 8th round because I thought Fabio was going to lose.
Yeah.
I remember already seeing you talking about potential fights.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fabio versus Torres would be a really good fight.
It would. Two young lions.
I think Torres. One thing about Torres that he'll have going for him that maybe Parker wouldn't is that Torres is not gonna get tired. He one thing about Torres is he don't got the skills of Parker, but he got the work rate. He probably got one of the best work rates in the division. I think Fabio Wardley quiet as kept. I think Fabio might get Richard Torres right now. I think Crocker is the worst. He didn't even win his title fight. I don't know, man. I think Barrios might be the worst out of all of them. I'll be honest with you. If you're asking me, like I'm not putting no one down, but if you're asking me, BT, who do you think is the weakest champion in welterweight? I'll probably say Mario Barrios. I think Lewis Crocker could be Mario Barrios. Yeah. My man Cyrus says Torres needs to cut all this shit out and go down to cruiserweight and do real damage. He be eating candy bars and shit. Well, that's a lot of them. That's a lot of heavyweights. I mean, even my boy, like, I would like to see at this point. I feel like now it's got to happen. I would like to see my boy Lorenzo Medina try to get down to cruiserweight, even though the money's a heavyweight. But I don't know. It's easy to say. It's easy to tell these fighters to get down and weight, but if they're big guys, you're probably not gonna get down and weight healthily without a nutritionist. And nutritionists cost money that a lot of fighters don't have. Like I thought I knew a little bit about cutting weight until I was in camp with Yuga, and then I actually talked to a real nutritionist. Then I realized, like, yo, I don't know shit about cutting weight.
Yeah, you gotta be on point.
L stand for lessons for Wardley. That's true. Rolly fought Cruz. I mean, he lost the top fighters. He lost to Tank. He lost to Cruz. Um, he lost to like top guys. Did you see the UFC card catastrophe? No, I don't watch UFC. I watch boxing. I watch baseball. I watch hockey, and I'm starting to watch basketball again. Shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. But you know,
It's Philly tonight.
playing Philly tonight. But no, I don't watch UFC. And Barroso, that's right, and Barroso. We can't forget Barroso. They gave him the Barroso fight.
Yeah.
Did you and Pop see the bare knuckle?
Malignani?
Yeah.
No. He really got cracked.
I saw some clips. And I saw what his face looked like after the fight. Listen, who am I to tell a fighter when they should finish? Because I didn't tell one to start. But Paulie's really rolling the dice over and over again. Buzz City, that's right. Buzz City. Shout out to the Hornets. And then LaMelo was fun to watch. He really, really is. And I'm hoping this year they stay healthy. They finally got him some athletes, some bigs that can run. They got him some more shooters.
Very athletic.
Very fun team to watch. They're gonna average like 135 points this year. Liam Paul versus Patty Donovan is looking to be official. That's an even fight at this point. I feel like, well, Patty might actually have the edge, even though he lost, because like Liam Paul was getting tore up by Dia Papo when he fought. I don't think Liam Paul's gonna have the same success at 47 that he did at 40. If I'm being honest, and I like Liam Paul. Do you think Pacheco's brother will do any good as heavyweight, actual Mexican style at heavyweight? It's tough to say. They're really moving him really slow there at Golden Boy. He literally fought a middleweight, a heavyweight. He fought a guy who was like barely bigger than you. I like Fed. I think they're gonna have to be really slow with him because he's not filled out yet as a man. Ceiling for him, I'll say at best fringe contender. I'm saying best case scenario, he's like Justice Hooney maybe. Do you think Boots versus Cobbs is a good fight? I think it's entertaining fight. I think it's better than Lima. Blair's not getting packed up in a round. Any thoughts on the Night of the Samurai? Any fights you're looking forward to on that card? I mean, I've been very vocal about that fight. I made a video about it last month. I'm not really a fan of the Inoue Picasso fight. I think it's very unnecessary. I feel like Inoue versus Picasso, as I've eloquently stated many times, is one of the gayest fights in boxing. You understand? But it's cool to see Inoue in the ring again. Junto's fight will be fun. I think Junto's fight will be a good one because Junto is gonna go in there and fight a real Mexican fighter and that Hernandez kid. I gotta watch more of him because I don't have a full opinion on that fight yet. For me, really, if I'm being honest, the standout fight on the card to me is Kenshiro Taraji coming off of a loss. Trying to become a 3-division champion against Wabaldo Garcia. Listen, I already think Kenshiro Taraji is a Hall of Famer, but if he becomes a 3-division champion, it's really not a debate anymore. He's fighting another Mexican. He's fighting for a world title in his third weight class. Guy is one of the best light flyweights in boxing history. I hope Kenshiro wins the fight. That's the fight I'm really excited about, is to see if Kenshiro can, become 3-division champ and really, add another accomplishment to his resume. Because I feel like, the Sandoval fight was very good. I thought, I thought he got screwed. I thought he actually won the fight, but they didn't give it to him. It is what it is. It's part of the sport. Sometimes things don't go your way, but I think he's got a chance to really go ahead and do his thing. Hyro said 2 guys that are shirtless in the ring is already gay. Fair enough, Hyro. He said Pacheco's brother is Chips. Oh, they scored again? Scored. AJ Greer, let's get it. Let's go Panthers. If Kenshiro beats Garcia, they'll definitely make Bam versus Kenshiro for Undisputed. I bet you they won't. I bet you they'll still find a way to not make the fight. And look, if they do make the fight, then great. I still want to see Bam versus Kenshiro. I feel like now he's finally old enough for Bam. He's gonna take some damage in that fight. He just took some damage in the Sandoval fight. I feel like he's just gonna be just right for Bam. That it's like a nice orange, you know, a nice fruit that you want to get nice and right for the picking. They couldn't fight Ken Sherrill like 2 or 3 fights ago when he was really like that. No, now that they had to wait for him to fight Sandoval, Waldo, Sego Yuri Kui, all these guys. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they will. At this point, I think Ken Sherrill's taking too much damage, and it's not even just damage. I think his current trainers have prioritized him getting into exchanges. And he didn't always box like that. He used to actually box early in his career. So I feel like he'll probably get stopped by Bam, but I'll be rooting for him because one of my favorite fighters in history, and he's probably he's one of the only fighters in boxing that I'm still a fan of. I mean, there's been times this year, and in the last year and a half where I wanted to quit covering boxing on YouTube, and Ken Sherrill Taraji fights are what have kept me going. So, you know, I'll be rooting for him, but I don't think he'll win at this point. A fight or two ago, possibly, but not now. You said Jason Maloney's already next for the winner? Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Guys, get your questions in, man. I'm just here. We just talking. You know, it's the aftermath of Parker versus Fabio Wardley. You know, really upset about how the fight played out and whatnot, and we'll see. I really don't think it's gonna be the last of British boxing corruption. I'm expecting some corruption next week for Buatsi versus Parker. If Joshua Buatsi leaves that fight close at all, I'm expecting corruption. So Buatsi, you know. Shout out to Coach Jeff. I know you subscribe to the channel. If you watching it live, Jeff, because I know you subscribe and you watch sometimes. You know, if you come across this, Jeff, make sure Boise goes in there and does his business. Got anything to say, Pops?
Yeah, keep watching us. Subscribe, super chat. This is the real channel right here. We keep it real.
Tell them how the real is. Tell them how you really feel.
We keep it motherfucking real here. What do you think, dude? Yeah, we keep it real here. So, yeah, thank you all for being here. Hopefully, I'll be more super live.
They want to know how you've been doing, because a question I get, not just on the live, but when I go out and I travel and I meet people that never met you in real life.
Appreciate
they'll say, "How's your dad? How's Pops doing?"
I just worn out. Totally worn out, broken battery that I keep recharging, basically. But I'm hanging in there, and thank you guys all for your supporting the channel, and hopefully I'll be in more lives and stuff. And this new year I can get something going on my own channel or something that I can talk about. But thank you all for your support. I'm here. I'm just quiet now because I'm weak all the time, believe it or not. But
yeah, because you had a heart attack 4 years ago.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Yeah. Who do I got winning between Flowers versus Tiger Johnson? I don't know. It's a good fight though. I feel like people are underestimating Tiger Johnson. I know people probably say Flowers is gonna win. Maybe he will. Maybe Flowers will just steamroll Tiger. But I feel like if they both fight to their best, I feel like Tiger is the more talented fighter. He's fought at a higher level. I'm gonna go with Tiger honestly, but we shall see. Shirley Boots versus Virgil is not next. Boots is chasing Abbas Barrow. It makes sense, in my opinion. Virgil versus Lumen. How do you see those fights playing out? I don't think Boots versus Virgil is next. I think Boots is probably going to fight Abbas Barrow, or Xander's going to fight Abbas. Either Boots is going to fight Abbas Barrow, or Xander's going to fight Abbas Barrow. But either way, Boots and Virgil aren't fighting next. Virgil versus Lubin. Good fight. A lot of people are putting Virgil Ortiz on upset alert because they feel like with the experience Lubin's got over the years, that he's gonna get over the hump. But like the way some of you guys were talking about Joseph Parker, like how he always finds a way to lose when he steps up. That's how I feel about Lubin. I feel like Lubin is a good fighter. He's got all the when you watch him fight, he looks like he has all the ingredients to be a champion, right? And he's only lost to like top guys, so you can't really fault him for that. But he's not. There's something missing. There's something missing with why he's not getting over the hump. And either way, even if he had it, I just think Virgil's better than him. So I'm gonna go with Virgil. Tiger is a very on and off fighter. You never know what version of him are you gonna get. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to predict what you're gonna get from Tiger because I feel like if Tiger Johnson is at his best, he's definitely he has the makings to be a legitimate contender in the division. But when he's like fighting random people, he looks mid. No way. They gave Gamaliel Fai his O back. I hate British boxing so much. Well, in his defense, you know, Gab- uh, Goliath Fai, Goliath Fai was cheated. He was cheated. The guy, what's his name? Francisco Rodriguez was on steroids, so it's not like there's not a reason to. Ubaldo Garcia started fighting at 27 with zero amateur experience. I know, um, and it's very impressive. I mean, that's damn near unheard of. Like you hear these stories about guys like Rocky Marciano. He started boxing at 25. Ubaldo Garcia at 27. Um, and look, he fighting one of the best fighters of his era, Kenshiro Taraji. So you got to give fighters that start late in boxing they're just due when they go in there and they kick ass and they take names despite a gap in experience. Look at Wardley. They said it on the commentary when Joseph Parker was world champion. Fabio Wardley hadn't even had a professional fight yet. He was still doing white collar boxing. Rodriguez got ranked #1 by the WBC again. Well, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Mauricio Sulaiman gonna get his money, and he's gonna look out for the Mexican fighters. It's a tale as old as time. All right, guys. Last 10 minutes. We'll make it an even 90 minutes, and then I'll get up off here. So get your questions in. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Super chat. We here. Just talking. Just cooling down after this ridiculous, great fight, but ridiculous stoppage. What's next for Jamel versus Bud? Unlikely. That fight's not happening. There's no reason for Carver to fight Jamel. Jamel is inactive. He's irrelevant. He gains nothing from fighting him at this point. Making boots or fighting boots would actually make more sense for Crawford than Jamel Charlo.
He wants $10 million.
Who, Crawford?
No, Jamel. He'll fight Crawford.
Yeah, because he's gonna get the brakes beaten off him. That's why.
He didn't do shit against Canelo.
You know what's crazy? Everybody. So you know what's funny? A lot of people like this downplay Bakram or Dazalian. They say like, oh, everyone says he's boogeyman, but he can't beat Boots, he can't beat Xander, he can't beat Virgil. Like,
yeah.
Everyone keeps saying what Bakram can't do, right? But you know what's funny? What people don't realize is the first person to duck Bakram was actually Jamel. When Jamel beat Castano, Bakram was the mandatory challenger. It's just that nobody cared back then because Bakram hadn't beaten Tim Tszyu yet. The Canelo?
Ever since then, I don't give a fuck about that guy. Coming at me, he's a tough guy. He's a fucking bitch.
Damn, that's how you feel?
Yeah, I tagged him on some shit. I told him, you fucking suck. Don't come in here and demand shit.
But he was undisputed 154. I mean,
fuck that guy. He was fine until he got into
with Canelo. So you're just mad because you feel like he
had no heart.
He didn't try to win.
No, he went in there for a fucking paycheck. Fuck him.
There you go. Pop speaking the truth. Pop speaking his truth. What he feels about.
He didn't work shit.
That's how I feel.
Fuck him.
I'll say this about Charlo. I want to see him fight again, but only at 154. If he fights anything north of 154, I don't want to see him. Bakram knocks Boots out. I want to see that fight. I'd love to see that fight. Bakram versus Kelly. They were supposed to go to purse bid. Bakram versus Kelly were supposed to go to purse bid, and that got postponed some more. So now Bakram has to play the waiting game even more now. Both Charlos are finished. I don't know, man. Jamal should be finished, but he's not losing.
They're good names to have, but motherfuckers always not consistent like they used to be. Now they both broke. The prize probably took all their money. Now they want to come back.
You got any advice for these fighters on how they can deal with their wives and taking their money?
Fucking do what John Cena did.
What did John Cena do?
Ronaldo did.
Ronaldo got married. Ronaldo's getting married.
Yeah, but he already had a
A prenuptial agreement?
Yep. Before that, yeah. Be smart, don't be stupid. So look what happened to Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill?
That fucking lady took him for a ride. 5,000 a month and 11,000 here and a brand new mansion. Fuck. He's smart, guys.
In
Smart.
the name of love.
He's smart with your money. Put it in Bitcoin.
Put it in Bitcoin.
I don't even know about it.
You giving financial advice too now?
I have no clue.
Boots and Virgil don't want to deal with the IBF rehydration clause. If not, they fight. No, that's an excuse. If you can't make the IBF rehydration clause, move up. Tired of fighting the fighters. I'm sorry, guys. I know a fighter personally. My boy Angelo, he's the IBF champion. I see professionalism at the highest level. So when I see these guys talking about some rehydration clause, it tells me that they're not a professional. That they're not really on that level.
To be honest, we don't know what fucking level Boots is in. We don't know what the fucking level is in anyway.
He's the Kobe Bryant of boxing.
Fucking fought Lima, or fucking somebody else. Even that one thing I would give him credit for. He even called himself. Why didn't he just come to one pretty far, call our real name out? Fighting the guy that fucking get nobody gets scared. Fuck Boots. Fuck Philadelphia. They're fucking embarrassment. He's a fraud.
Ace Money says, not saying it's not an excuse, but they don't want to do it. No, I get it. I get it. I get why. I'm just saying, it's not. I'm not speaking just about those guys. I'm talking about all fighters, because it's like it seems like every weight class, every time we get to the IBF belt, all of a sudden now, you guys yeah. Reversely says, I love Pops' Boots hate so much and his Philly hate. Well, the funny thing is, we don't hate Philly. We've been to Philly. We've been to his gym. I like Boots.
It's just they're all full of heart.
And I like Bozy.
Even I totally agree with I'm not kissing his ass, but I agree with what Norman Jr.'s dad says. He says, I used to like going to get intimate with them, but they're all fucking full of fucking hard air. All the motherfuckers are. They really fucking are. I like Greg Hackett kissing ass. All them guys think that this fucking guy is so great. He fought a guy, Lima, who was nobody knew who the fuck he was. When he could have gone, like I say, into the weight class and fought somebody real. All they do is they dissect from what the way it's supposed to go, and they try to act like this is great because he got one knockout or somebody that nobody even gives a fuck about. Fuck Boots and fuck Philadelphia.
Well, I won't say fuck Philly. I like Philly.
I like the what's his name? You gotta beat my guy.
What about Steve? I like Steve Fulton.
I like Fulton, but what I'm getting at, they're all full of shit over in the Philly gym.
Only when it comes to
they blow too much air at Boots, and Boots hasn't done jack shit. Not a fucking thing.
We're still waiting.
He's got like 3 out of fights that he turned down, and that was all the other guys. The others that, well, I just like Nima. I'm just ready to go up here put a good show and shut all my favorite.
Even Eddie Hearn was funny. He said we're not gonna whatchamacallit. We won't turn out any fights anymore. That's what he said. We won't turn out.
Oh, you got Boots. You turned a couple of the guys turned out. This guy gave me a list. I thought it was 5 top fighters he could have fought. And he turned them all down. I'm talking about Boots. Whatever the case.
Well, look, every fighter has the roadmap.
He don't got no fucking roadmap. Don't tell me he got a fucking roadmap when everybody say. And I thought he was gonna be the big man of the division back in the day, but you know what? He's a fucking fraud. He's just sitting there. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
I don't want to turn this into a boot slide, but
I don't care. But that's not what it is. Boots fucking is a fraud. They know I already tagged them all the shit. They know how I feel. So I have no problem telling them to their face, you're all full of shit. I'm waiting for my fucking Virgil to go in and knock you out. Put you the fuck out, I hope. Some stupid ass talking all this shit that you're the man, that you're this, that you're that. And I get you got your fan base, but please, wake the fuck up. Actions speak louder than words. And Boots, your actions smell like shit. Just like everything else you've been doing, like fucking shit.
You finished? Okay. Yeah, like the comment section going crazy. You're going crazy. And Hyro says, Pops, give him a call. He has a lot of crap to talk about.
No, it's a problem. You won't pick up a phone for a real deal. When you talk to him about real deal, they won't.
No, Hyro was saying you need to call him.
About the fight?
Yeah.
About the Fabio fight?
Yeah.
I will, but not right now. And congratulations to your guy. I'm not gonna say you were right.
I'm about to go watch the Hornets. In about a minute, when I end this live, I'm about to go watch the Hornets.
Yeah. So anyways, congratulations to him. You called it. You say your man was gonna win a Haro.
Harold, you were right.
You were right.
You got
So
it
now
right.
had it was
Just make sure. Just make sure you were right. Just make sure you think Harold Foster.
Yeah, it's about Brandon. It's crazy how when I walked in the room, Brandon told me before the fight he would start with fighting. That this guy right here, he said I don't like that referee, and I asked him why I didn't like that referee. He said because he fucking stops fights the whole time.
Look, man, if you don't like boots, then just don't wear them. But guys, look, on that note, I appreciate. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I'm not sure. I'll probably live Monday. I'll say Monday. I won't say tomorrow, but I'll say Monday because I got.
For all the videos he made.
But yeah, there's a bunch of videos coming out soon, and I got more I'm making tonight. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Saturday night and watch some basketball and just chill, eat some good food, and listen. You guys take care. Boxing will pick up again soon. This channel will pick up again soon. And the drive to 100,000 subscribers continues here on True School of Sports. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the kind words. And shout out to all the fighters out there putting in hard work to make great nights and great fights like today. So on that note, you guys be good. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.